Hello, everybody. Reggie Time here, and in just a short while, we'll be looking at most of the interesting pots I played from a 4 hour session on Sky Poker last night, which was like Saturday night into Sunday morning. There's some interesting and fun spots to come. So, yeah, stay tuned for that. If you don't want to watch the next few seconds of me or next couple of minutes of me like reviewing my month of March, then just basically hover over the like the video player thing and just skip through until you see these blue screens again. Then you get to see their hands. But just for a moment, we're going to take a few minutes just to look at my results for um, March. Sorry. Um, Overall, really cannot complain. Made just over $800 in 33,000 hands, so all pretty good. Um, I've played most of this, if not all of it, in on an iPoker skin, and I've been playing there since June. The rake is astronomically high. It works out at something like 12 big blinds, 100, something like that, maybe even more. And the rewards are astronomically low. And in January this year, they made the rewards even lower. But because the games are so good, I've continued playing there despite being really pissed off with the state of the rake situation and what have you. Um, and I was doing that mostly because I could get volume in and I could make the amount of money I quote unquote need in order to like maintain my work life balance and not have to get a job, basically. Um, this is the year to date, I think. Is it where we at this year? So as you can see, it's gone really quite well. Certainly not going to grumble at those results, but it's it was it's massively irritating to me that the astronomical rake, and when you're like on a heater and whatever like we have been, you like put up with it, but then when you have these like shitty little downswings and break even spells, it's when it really fucking hits home to me and really annoys me. Anyways, to cut a long story short, in the last month or so, I picked up just a few more hours in my respite care, working with a young man that I absolutely fucking adore. So it's not even like work; it's just a way of life. And then um, last week, I received a 32.5% pay rise. Then I also started attracting expenses that I've never asked for, because I don't care for expenses. You know, fine if we get them, great. If we don't, we don't. But basically, they give us some. So my income's gone up by like 50% in the last month, maybe even slightly more than 50%. So it just takes nearly all the pressure off playing poker. And when I've been doing this, you know, I've played 115,000 hands thereabouts this year to date, and it's you know it's 100 plus hours a month, 4 and 5 tabling, paying fucking high rake, and it's a grind. And sometimes it just gets fucking a bit old. And I'm an old man now. I'm nearly 50. I'm a fucking plodder. I'm not a speed machine. Um, and I was slowly but surely just getting more and more like fed up with the grind. So when I got this like extra bit of pay and whatever you coming, I decided basically fuck iPoker, fuck the fucking high rake, fuck the fucking roll rewards, and I kind of cut that decision anyway. Then on like the last day of the month, or maybe slightly the start of April, I lost like 3 sessions in a row, which is whatever. I had like an 8 buy-in downswing, and then I triggered like a rewards payment, if you will. You had to spend €100 in rake, and then you get a rewards payment. It's like a scratch card, you rub it off. So bearing in mind, I just played for like, however, over the last 3 sessions, maybe 10 or 11 hours. I'd lost about, I don't know, 150 to €200. I'd paid me €100 in rake, and then they gave me €5 as a return. And literally, I saw that, I rage quit. I didn't even finish the session properly, like folding out the blinds. I just closed the fucking client, like, yeah, you can fuck off. Not doing you anymore. You're a dickhead. Um, so then I decided, well, what am I going to do? Fortunately, I just took some time over it and decided, you know what, let's just have a little game on Sky. And I've been playing 20 NL in euros on iPoker, playing like between 4 and 5 tables. And my turnover would be probably quite similar, just playing like 20 and 30 on a Sky 3 tables in terms of amount of money turned over. Yeah, the hands aren't going to be the same number of hands and what have you. But we're playing slightly higher stakes. I mean, even 20 NL is higher than 20 NL Euros, and then we get to play some of these good 30 NL games too. So it just felt like it was maybe a good time to go back to Sky and just 2 or 3 tables. This is what I always used to do: 2, 3 at the most, 4 tables of Sky, and make my whatever a month. Average £600-700 a month. So that's what we're starting doing in April. Whether we stick to it, who knows? It's me. The plan is to just 2 and 3 tables Sky for the month. Just plod along. Just be a plodder. Because I don't need to make as much money from poker that I used to make. So my income now, if I didn't play a poker, we'd probably just about get by. Based on what I'm earning away from poker. So anything I make from poker is just going to be like a big fat juicy bonus. So there's no pressure to make that much money anymore. If I had a bad month, I only made a couple of £100. It's better. It's better than they kick up the bum. And then if you have a good month, then happy days, get the jelly and ice cream out. So yeah, we're going to start the month playing on Sky. Whether we end it here, who fucking knows? But what I can say is that the next 2 weeks it's Easter holidays from college, so I'm working more next week and the week after. My work's going to take place in that late mornings, early afternoons. So probably going to be less videos coming. But if I do, hopefully they're all going to be similar to this one, where we're just reviewing hands against some like fun players and what have you. So anyway, that went on longer than I anticipated. If you're still watching, don't forget to hit the like button. Please leave a comment. I don't really care what it is. Just don't be toxic. And yeah, let's get on with looking at these hands. First time we're going to be looking at is this hand on the left-hand table, the pocket jacks. And it's going to be against a regular of sorts. He's not like a high volume regular. He plays a lot. As far as I can tell. He always seems to be on, but he's not like a mass table grinder. He's not there playing like 6 to 8 tables at a time. I think he's probably quite similar to me in a lot of ways. Kind of like not professional by any stretch, but making money from the game, just plodding along, grinding it out, doing like all those relatively shit regs do, like trying your best, doing a few things that are not good, doing a few shit things. Like they're all doing. This is nothing against him whatsoever. It really isn't. He seems like a nice guy. He's by no means a bad player, but he's like the rest of us who play the micro stakes regularly. He's just a shit reg like the rest of us. And that isn't meant in any shape or form as an insult. It's just what it is. I'm a shit reg. He's a shit reg. He's a shit reg. He's a shit reg. Now, there's different shades of shit regs, but we're all shit regs because if we were any good, we wouldn't be playing fucking 20 and 30 on Sky, would we? So, I mean, no offense to him there. I'm sure when he watches this, or if he watches this, he'll understand what I'm getting at. It's not personal. It's not an insult. We're all fucking shit. So anyway, yeah, we've opened the jacks. He's 3-bet us. I think we have a crystal clear 4-bet versus a fellow shit reg. And that's what we do. He calls. And we get a thoroughly disappointing flop. Now, I think probably we could just c-bet 100% in 4-bet pots, generally speaking. It's just going to be a good play because we're going to have a lot of good hands here. We're going to have pocket aces. We're going to have pocket queens. We're going to have ace queen. We're going to have ace king. We have like tons and tons of strong hands here. So it's probably fine just to c-bet range for like fucking 10% pot, 20% pot, quarter pot, whatever. Pick your own fucking size. Doesn't matter. There won't be a lot of difference in like the EV of whatever size you choose here. But I kind of don't want to put any more money in with this fucking hand. So I elected to check. And I think checking's fine here too. I would definitely check sets of aces. Definitely check sets of queens. So I know the sort of player I am. When I check aces here, it's not like, I'm checking aces and I'm like never checking my strong hands. Because I check a lot of strong hands too, because I'm fucking nit. So we check, and Villain is about to check back. Probably should have sped this video up a little bit, but never mind. It is what it is. Turn a queen, which I think maybe not the ideal fucking holding, because he can have a lot of king queen suited, maybe queen jack suited, stuff like that. So don't love the man. There's not many combinations of queen jack suited. So ignore me. I'm a fucking dickhead. In fact, there's precisely zero combinations of queen jack suited left. So shut the fuck up, Reg. You fucking fat idiot. So anyway, we check again because get me to showdown, please, dealer. And then we river the board. And the question now becomes like, do we now just lead out? I mean, I would probably play aces full this way quite often. Um, so it's not just like, oh, now we've hit the jack, we can bet, and we're face up as having just like jacks full. I would probably play. I would probably play it like if I had some sort of queen X this way. Not sure what queen X I would have that four bets pre. I mean, I guess we can four bet some king queen off and what have you. I don't very often, but I guess in theory we could have it. So I think we could bet again here, but I think I'm just going to check a third time. A lot of the time here, hopefully. He finally, if he's got an ace, he finally like decides to value bet it. If he's got a queen, maybe he value bets that. So I'm going to be trying to go for a check raise here a lot. Because I'm still not going to want to bet my pocket kings, etc. So I don't fucking know. I butchered this hand a little bit, but I think as played, check. I think we probably need to check the river at a decent frequency too, and just hope our man finds a thinner value bet or finds a bluff after we check three times. Because we look a lot like pocket king when we check this line. We look so much like pocket kings. So you would imagine that he's going to definitely want to value bet an ace at this point. Maybe do some bluffing. Not sure what bluffs he could have, but if he's like three bet called some like under pairs like pocket eight or something, I don't know. But I just checked that maybe he has a value bet, a thinner value bet, maybe he has a bluff once in the blue moon. So we checked again, looking to check raise, and our man just had a hand he could check back. And we're going to see what it was in just a moment. Yeah, he had the king nine of clubs. I'm not sure what I feel about his call pre-flop of the four bet, to be honest with you. It's not something I would do. I don't run any of these things through fucking solvers. I probably should. I don't know if it's a thing or not. It feels like it's maybe a bit loose pre, especially versus a fucking nit like me. But yeah, I'm not gonna fucking call him out because that could be absolutely fucking fine. Could be absolutely fine. So yeah, we basically had a full house in a four bet pot and got absolutely no fucking money in. Go Reggie! Go Reggie! Anyways, same hand, sorry, same table. We are now up against Evil Bob, and we have two kings. We are going to squeeze this pot. I think I'd prefer against two VIPs, very, very VIP and just normal VIP. I think we can maybe go a little bit bigger here, but it doesn't really matter. Both guys have got less than 100 big stars, so it's not a big issue. We get a 3-5-3 flop. It is obviously a pretty exceptional flop for our two kings here. If our opponent, if our man's got a pocket pair, he's not going to be folding it on this board. He could have some flush draws, I guess. I mean, we got the king of spades, so some of the better flush draws he's not going to have, I suppose. But basically, we're in position in a squeeze pot with an overpair against a recreational player, and we have an SPR of 2. It's going to be pretty hard to fuck this up. Our man checks. We're just going to bet, and obviously we're just going to try and get money over 2 streets. Not a lot to say about this hand, really. Yeah, so I'm just going to go small again here and just basically put the guy on the payment plan. It's not really give him chance to fold. With that, always giving him like a pretty good price. He does check raise. We're obviously going to call with no slow rolling VIPs. He has the ace 5 and we hold. Aha, here's our man Slotters making his debut. This hand wouldn't necessarily always make it into a video, but Slotters has been chatting to me quite a lot at the table. He's confirmed viewer of the channel, so hello to you, Slotter. He seems like a nice guy. He's like fun, chatty at the table. His grammar could do with some improvement. He sometimes uses text speak, and then he confirmed to me last night that, like me, he's a fat middle-aged man. When I see fat middle-aged men using text speak in a poker chat, it makes my skin crawl. Sort yourself out, Slaughter. It's a fucking disgrace. You're middle-aged, and then you are typing like some fucking 18-year-old fucking chav from the fucking streets. Sort it out, mate. Sort it the fuck out. Anyway, Slotters, he's got my yellow tag because I wasn't aware at first when I first tagged him that he was like a view of the channel. He was at a few tables. I just thought, this guy's going to be a typical shitbag like the rest of us. So he's just got the yellow tag, but he does some funky stuff. He doesn't really deserve the yellow tag, but because he's a friend of the channel, for now, he's got the yellow tag. But that could be slightly complimentary because I don't think he's in it. Anyways, his 3 bets are small. We're going to defend the 7s, of course. Get a flop where we have the most trivial of check calls. Pick up a flush draw on the turn. Excuse me. And Slotters checks back. So I think when he checks back that turn, he can still have quite a reasonable amount of good hands. He can have some like bigger pairs than ours that he's just pot controlling with. He can obviously have some flushes that, like some of the higher flushes maybe. That again he's just being tricky with. I don't know. But basically when this river comes down and it's another spade, I'm quite happy to see it. He probably shouldn't have too much offsuit ace X here, like ace queen with the ace of spades, ace king with the ace of spades, maybe like ace jack with the ace of spades, and then like ace king with the king of spades. So he can have some flushes, but I think when he checks back the turn, I'm not convinced he's going to be like super strong here too often. And then he just like bets this size on the river, and he doesn't like strike me as someone like aggressively seeking value. I think if he had a higher spade here, like an ace of spades or a king of spades, he would maybe go bigger. I just wasn't convinced that he had a flush here. Don't think he has a full house either. So I think we have a pretty mandatory call, and just hope he's not in the king of spades, ace of spades region. But as I say, like the sizing doesn't strike me as somebody with a nutted hand. So he's not nutted, and he can probably have some bluffs here. When we take the line we've taken, I think we just have a mandatory call. Not a happy call, but a mandatory one. And he turned up with the Jack 10 of diamonds. I'm not sure what I think of that line, but again, I'm not going to dig a fellow shit reg out. I wouldn't have played it that way, but you know, I'm hardly a fucking genius, am I? On to the next one. It's going to be this ace jack again over here. We have Train Poker, who is another fellow shit reg on the tighter side, in my opinion. He opens here. Violet was playing many hands. Violet was playing many, many, many hands. I think we have a mandatory squeeze here. Train comes in with the call. Violet folds, and we get this flop. And I fucking hated this flop. I was tempted to do lots and lots of fucking stupid things. I mean, I think, and I could be wrong, I could be very much misapplied. I was having a chat the other day in Discord with another fellow shit reg, the infamous Duesenberg123, former Monday night Twitch streamer and glue sniffer extraordinaire. And he was like talking about some spot where he'd been studying where on Jack 10x boards, we just get to fucking go all in a lot in 3-bet pots, like overbet all in. This is almost a Jack 10x board, isn't it? It's almost one. So I was tempted to be like totally misapply something that that may or may not be fucking good anyway. I was tempted just to fucking rip this. That was my first thought was, can we just go all in here? We've got a gut shot. We've got 2 overcards. And train poker can maybe have some stuff like pocket fives, pocket sixes that be put in a spot and fold. Um, but then again, he might just have flopped the absolute granny out of it and snap me off with the set. So in the end, I ended up just doing something really shit and not happy about this play. It's possibly the worst hand played of the night because I elected to do this, and I think it's really shit. I haven't checked this back, but it might be okay in theory. It might be fucking complete dog shit in theory. Short answer, I haven't got a fucking clue. So I just did this, and he literally went all in. There's nothing else we can do now. We just have to fold, sadly, and get on with our lives. That was shit. It felt shit doing it. Upon review, it looks shit. Everything about that is shit. Over here now, we're back on this table now, on the right-hand side table, against our friend Slaughter again. We've opened the King Queen, blind versus blind. We've checked it over to him, or we're about to check it over to him, I think. He stabs half pot. We turn a pair of queens. Check, check. River is the ace. And given that we think Slaughter likes a little bluff now and again, we definitely don't have a value bet here. We definitely have a check. And we probably have again like bit of a sad call. He just got half pot again, similar size to he went like with his bluff on the previous time when we had the sevens, he had the jack 10 against this player. With the current dynamic we have, I don't think there's going to be any folding of this hand. And Slaughter turned up with the king deuce offsuit. Now I'm presuming that he's just doing that to like play pots with me and fuck around a little bit. I'm presuming he doesn't defend the king deuce offsuit versus most people when they open. Defending it against a fucking nit like me is probably not very good. But yeah, I mean, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt, and I'm going to say he was just fucking around, just trying to like fuck around with me, which is completely fine, of course. I mean, I wouldn't have played the hand the way he played it, but nevertheless, we dragged down another small pot, and Slaughters has had his 15 seconds, 15 minutes of fame. Well, we say fame. He's on a YouTube channel, starring in a video that's going to get at best 300 views. So if that's fame, by fuck, he's getting it. Here now, I think we're going to be back over here to this ace queen offsuit. We have opened. Gutters calls. Gutters is a very fun player. He's very aggressive, plays wide ranges, plays very aggressive post flop. Fun to play with. Then we got a very VIP cold calling. And we have this guy like three betting, squeezing. Now, previously to this hand, I'd seen him do this. I think it had a 5-6 off or 4-5 off. So this absolutely does not need to be a strong hand. Our question is now: do we risk reopening the betting and then getting jammed on by him, or do we call it? The thing with calling is it's probably just going to go multi-way, and then we're going to be stuck with ace queen, which isn't a terrible thing against VIP players, but it's not ideal either. So I elected, this could be very shit as well. I elected to like go with a small 4-bet, basically just try and knock these two guys out and just get heads up with Trojan Lord. The sizing could be off here. Maybe we need to go a little bit bigger though. But like, I was folding to any future action from these two. Whether I was folding to a jam or not, I don't know. I got a little bit lost in this hand. We ended up making it 6. In hindsight, I think that's a little bit too small. But whatever, it is what it is. Anyway, we flopped well, so happy days. I'm going to go with I imagine a smallish c-bet here. Here we go, and like whatever that is, 1/3 pot, something like that. And I think probably, we don't need to go 1/3 pot here. I think in hindsight against this player, we can just go bigger. Um, I think maybe I preferred it to see us go. There was 12 something in the pot, wasn't there? Preferred to see us go maybe closer to half pot. Set up like easier turn jams. I think that bet's too small. I just don't think we need to use that size against a VIP player with the value hand. I think we can use that as like a range bet. When we just like, not too bothered if he, we're trying to make him fold something or whatever. I'm losing the plot again here now. But basically, what I'm saying, when I'm weak, I think we can use that size because that'll be a common size. He'll be used to seeing that now. That's just how these games play, isn't it? It's how poker plays these days. Small C bets, 3-bet pots. So he'll be used to seeing small bets, so it will carry some fold equity still, I imagine. So I think against these VIP players, when we got a weak hand, we can just bet small. When we got a strong hand, we can just bet bigger. I think we should have used a bigger size there, basically. And then the turn comes a 9. The board started to get a little bit too coordinated, and I think we just go all in here. I think it's probably okay. You can call us with um, worst queens, queen jack, king queen. He can maybe even call us with a 10. Of course, there's ways he can have us beat. King jack definitely in his range. Um, Two pairs, sets, etc. So there's ways we can be beat here, but 4-bet pot against a blue tag, we're just going to put all the money in. And if we're beat, we're beat. We just deal with it. Here we have min opened aces. We've missed the start of the action for some reason. We've min opened aces. We've had 2 callers from the VIPs in the blinds. Gutters, who is like perma aggro, is going to lead out here. And Jade, whatever the fuck that is, we're just going to call him Watty. Watty calls. And the question is, do we want to reopen the betting? Am I willing to play per stacks here on this board with pocket aces versus 2 VIPs? And I think it's a good question to ask because I think I butchered this hand. We're not meant to like play too aggressively in like multi-way pots, etc., etc. I don't think we're meant to have too many raises in these spots. I think ace is probably, if we look at this as a solver, well, you won't be able to look at it as a solver because it's multi-way. But I'm guessing that we're just meant to call here a lot. But I think as an exploiter, just like, big hand, just get the fucking money in before the board gets too bad. I think I should probably have raised here. I ended up not raising. I'm not happy with how I played this hand. Kind of just autopilot called. I think definitely should have raised. Get led into again on the turn. What he is about to call again. I think at this point we just have to call. I don't think we can raise now as played. And then we river top set, which is fucking delightful. So we river top set, and now all of a sudden there's only like 30 odd blinds in the pot. Gutters finally slows down and checks. And Watty just weighs in with a half pot bet, and this is just like never. How can it be a bluff? He's just going to have a flush a lot of the time here, but we do beat some value. Maybe he's been trapping with like a smaller set. Maybe he's had a pocket sevens, pocket sixes. Maybe he's got jack queen. Maybe he's got ace jack, etc. So because we beat value, I mean, as soon as he bet, it's like fuck. He's got a flush. We're absolutely fucked, and we're going to go deep into our time bank here. And I think if I'd had slightly longer, I probably would have found a fold. I was deeply, deeply, deeply unhappy with the situation. I just think this is a flush nearly all of the time. You can see I just hovered over the fold. Then eventually I clicked call, and it was just. I'm not happy with the entire hand. I mean, yeah, we get it on the flop because we raise. He's got a pair of flush, so we get it in. So it's not being result oriented and saying we should have raised the flop. But I still think against 2 recreational players, VIPs, whatever you want to call them, I think we just raise the flop and get it in there. And if somehow we're behind, then somehow we're behind. I think I'd played that hand. Probably, like in theory, probably fine, but in practice, just shit, really, just not good. Anyway, we have the tens here. Our friend Slaughter has raised in the under the gun position. LL Cool Dave, who just lost a big pot the previous hand, calls. what is about to come along on the button. And we're obviously going to squeeze. Well, not obviously. I guess we could just call here, but we are going to go with the squeeze. I think like the only person we're probably behind two, if we're behind to anyone, is Slaughter. So I think it's not a mandatory squeeze, but I think it's a good squeeze spot. Slaughter gets out of the way. LL Cool Dave calls. Watty is about to come along too. And we get a reasonable flop. I think we're probably going to do quite a lot of big betting here, or relatively big betting. We probably have the best hand, but it's pretty vulnerable. And we don't mind just like taking the pot down now, or like at least like forcing Watty out if he's got like 2 random overcards or something, and then just like running it against whatever LL Cool Dave has. End up going relatively big size. What he calls for nothing really to be worried about here. I mean, I guess we could just go all in, but what are we trying to get value from? I think still like what are we getting value betting here against pocket sevens, pocket sixes, pocket fives, things like that. I mean, of course, he can maybe have some like Jack X now and again, like pocket Jack. Sorry, really hard to see what 8x he has. 8-7 suited, 9-8 suited. You know, there's not many combos of that. But again, I think we just want to keep betting. Maybe if we bet small enough, he still finds appeal with this like 2 random overs or what have you. So I end up going with like a pretty small bet here, and I like it. Whether it's good in theory, I don't know. I mean, we're downsizing from our flop side, from our flop bet. So this could be really bad in theory, could be good. I haven't got a fucking clue. But I think in practice, as an exploit against a VIP, I think it's completely fine. Watty finds a call on the 4 river. The question now is, do we like jam for value? Maybe ace high calls. Seems unlikely, but you know, maybe ace high calls, thinking the chopping against other ace highs. I still think pocket sevens, pocket sixes, maybe pocket fives, maybe they call some of the time, but it starts to feel a little bit thin. Problem with checking is that if he bets, like what bluffs is he gonna have? It's kind of hard for him to get to the river and have many bluffs when he bets. It's kind of hard for him to have many hands that want to call when he gets to the river, maybe pocket sevens. It was just weird. I didn't really know what to do. It felt like he could still have jacks. If we jammed, he just could still call it with jacks. But he could have nines too. I don't know. I got very lost on this river. Didn't know what to do for the best. Very rare I got this far into my time bank. Did elect to check in the end. Once we check, if Watty goes all in, we just have to call because he doesn't rate to have us beat very often. Like pocket jacks, maybe pocket queens. It was like the only hands I thought we were beat by, and you know, maybe he just like turns ace-x into a bluff, trying to get us off chops. Maybe he like is value betting a worse hand here, like sevens or nines or something. I just like whatever, just call and hope something weird's happening. And something weird was happening. He had the 10-8 offsuit that just called a big squeeze pre. But it's why we play these games. It's if you're gonna get salty, don't get me wrong. I was miffed. I'm not gonna pretend I was like super zen like the fucking Dalai Lama or something. I was miffed. But if you're gonna get salty about these things and like let it spoil your session or get fed up with it, then poker's not for you. We play in games with these recreational players, these VIP players, because they're doing stuff like this. And sometimes they just win, and there's not a lot you're going to be able to do about it. You just got to get on with it. So this was about halfway through our session, maybe slightly more than halfway through. At this point, we were now stuck in the session, and it was quite annoying because the table's been really good, and now we're stuck. And it's fucking 20 to 3 in the morning, But you've got to get on with it. Tables are still good. I felt I was playing pretty well, get on with it, grind it out, Reg. So we're moving over here, over to the Ace Jack suited. And we have a player who I didn't know an awful lot about, who's like 3-bet at open. VIP in the small blinds finds the cold call. Checking me note there. We just call, we flop the 2 pairs, and how absolutely fascinating. We check, hopefully to get a check raise in, I presume. Check back, pretty shitty turn card. I mean, our hand's still way too strong against these 2 players to do anything, to fold. But, if I could just choose a turn card, the 10 of clubs would not have been high on the list of cards that I would have chosen. But we call, river is a deuce. He bets again. We just have to call. There's just no folding our hand. We're going to be beat a reasonable amount of the time, but there's just no folding our hand. Call, and fortunately our villain had the ace king suited, which was a good outcome for us because we had a better hand than ace king. Moving on now, we have the king jack of spades here. Very rare flat from the small blind. Kurt is a very good player in my opinion. I don't really want to reopen the betting here with king jack suited, because Kurt's just going to not fold very often, and he's going to have position on us. He's going to outplay us a lot. I don't want that to happen, and also we don't want to reopen. We don't want to just squeeze gutters out of the pot. I'm keen to play pots with this guy, even from out of position. So I ended up just flatting. In theory, completely not a thing. In practice, I think it's okay with a aggressive, loose aggressive like recreational player in the mix. We flop a flush draw. We check. Kurt stabs very small. Can do this with a wide range of holdings. Gutters calls again, incredibly wide range. We could raise right now. I elected to call. See one more. It's cheap. Turns complete break. We check. Slotters checks again. Kurt's going to check this time. And Gutters, who those of you who play the Sky Pool will be familiar with Gutters, he's a very, very active player post flop. Very aggressive. He's just not scared of putting money in. He's in the mix. You've got to respect his fucking hustle. He's in there battling. He's too wide. He's way too wide, to be fair. But, he's out there. He's having a good time. He's enjoying himself. He's making life difficult for people. He's dragging some big pots down sometimes because he quite often has quite big stacks. He's losing some big pots. He's in the fucking mix. He's in there doing his thing. But I think when Slotters has checked twice, Kurt now checks his turn. They're just not going to be very strong, either of these 2 people, very often, either of these 2 players. And we know Gutters has pretty wide ranges for betting. So I elect to go with a raise here because I think Slotters and Kurt are almost always folding. I think Gutters has a pretty wide range here still when he bets, even though it's multi-way. I think you can just still have some air or some pretty weak hands. And I just raise now, hopefully try and take him off it, or build a bigger pot for if we do river our flush. We just get to make a large value bet. Yeah, reopening the betting's not ideal because if Gutters jams, then we put ourselves in a stupid fucking spot. But I think this play's fine. Could be wrong. If he jams, I'd fucking hate life. But I think it's fine. I think we're going to get a lot of immediate folds here, and then when we don't get immediate folds, sometimes we're going to make it. This time we don't make it. We get the brickiest of bricks, and I think we have a pretty bad combo to bluff with. And I just give up because what are you going to do? Problem is, Gutters is going to bet a lot, and we're just going to have to fold. Maybe sometimes we fold the best hand, but I think we just have a give up spot here now. Our draw's missed. What are we going to do? So Gutters checks back, which is kind of indicative that he probably has some kind of showdown value. Then the pot slides to us. Gutters couldn't beat our king high, which is nice. And yeah, he had the 10 deuce of spades. Didn't bluff the river, interestingly. So I learned a little bit about Gutters there that hopefully I'll be able to use in future. Here we have the pocket jacks. We've raised 4x over a limp. We flop a set. We're not going to spend too long analysing this, I wouldn't imagine. You can see me like mixing between sizes here, like 150 and I decided to go with 1/3. Then I just thought, this guy's a prime guy in the pot. I just thought if he has an ace, he's just not folding versus the bigger size. So I just decided to size up and target ace-x in the end. He did call. Turn. Absolute thunderous brick. I think I made a small mistake here on the turn. I think we could bet a little bit bigger, maybe. I mean, maybe not. It just ends up, maybe it's not even a mistake, but we end up with like on the river where after he calls here, we still have like more than pot. So I'd rather set up less than pot. I mean, he's only got £20, so it's not a massive over bet. Maybe we should have bet a tiny bit more on the flop, tiny bit more on the turn, and get this to like less than pot size shove for the river. But theoretically, we don't mind leaving a big bet for the river for the times we want to bluff. Not that I'm ever going to bluff here against a VIP, but theoretically, probably not the worst thing to leave this bet size behind for the times we do want to bluff. We go all in, and he calls immediately with the ace queen, and things are starting to turn around for us. Over here now with the two queens against Assassin and Grogu, who comes in with the min 3 bet. So we ignore this basically and just like make the size I would make if it was squeezing. Just treat that like a flat. Reflop an overpair. Happy days. SPR of 3. Happy days. Go with like 1/3 pot. Happy days. Turn top set. Happy days. And our villain just makes life easy and goes all in. Happy days. And he's drawing dead. So we're hovering now to the pocket 8s. Getting close to the end of the video. We've only got a couple more hands to do, I think. Limp pot. We just check our option. We flop quads. Good to be Reggie, I guess. Well, not always. I'm not very healthy and I'm getting old. But it's good to be Reggie in this exact spot. We lead out with our quads. We get a call from the button. Get a 10 on the turn. We elect to check. I did say at the start of the video we played that hand against Ainaha, or whatever the heck he's called. That I sometimes check some strong hands as well as like the jacks and things. This is a very different spot. It's a limped pot, blah blah blah. But I like to think I am reasonably good at checking strong hands. So we check again, anyways, because like if he's got a king, he's going to bet anyway. If he's got nothing, then give him a chance to bluff, etc. We call. Check the river again, just again. I think if he has a king, maybe he checks back now on this run out, but he's a recreational player, so there's a good chance he doesn't. I think lots of regs would check back here with that king X, but lots of regs wouldn't have king X because it's a limp pot, it's on the button, so it's not a comparable spot. But yeah, we're checking again, just hoping he has a king. Maybe he has a straight or something, who knows. Just hope he's got something he can bet or he can bluff. And he goes with the pot size bet. We're just going to go all in, and aren't we fucking geniuses? Aren't we a fucking genius? And fortunately, he backed into a flush, and we dragged down the pot, and it was all very nice. Right, this is the last hand of the video. We have two kings with min raise a button. Liam Boy, who is like a long-term fellow shipwreck on the Sky Streets, decides to lead out here. Don't know what I think about this, to be honest with you. I think it's very face up as being a 6. I don't think he leads a queen here. Maybe he doesn't lead a flush draw. Yeah, I just thought, right, okay, Liam's probably got a 6 a lot of the time and doesn't want it to check through. We obviously can't fold it because we have two kings. So we just call. The other player calls. Turn checks. Liam bets very big again pretty quickly. At this point, it's just like absolutely obvious that Liam has a 6. I think it's incredibly unlike he doesn't do this with the queen, just doesn't ever. Maybe with a flush draw once in a blue moon, but it's just a 6, isn't it? It's all it is. But I don't think I took too long over this. I just folded because Liam's got a 6. And then we would have rivered the full house. And it's like, oh, Liam's got a 6, and we would have rivered a full house. That is disappointing. Liam puts the recreational player all in because Liam's got a 6, of course. At this point, I would have been jizzing through a flaccid penis. And yes, Liam did have a 6. So yeah, and obviously it's disappointing that we would have rivered the full house. But I'm just really pleased that I made that fold. You know, it's 10-4 in the morning. I mean, by now we're winning. We're having a winning session. Not huge, maybe like 30 quid or something. Maybe up a buy-in, depending on which stake you want to look at. You know, and I'd been through a few frustrating spots. But yeah, I just think we have to make that. If we know our man pretty well, and I think we do know Liam pretty well, and we just like know he's going to be like incredibly 6x dense there. I mean, the call pre-flop, Liam, come on, mate, 6-3 off. I know it's a min raise, but yeah, come on, Liam. What is that all about? But anyway, never mind. I like Liam. He's a good lad. Well, he seems a good lad. He could be a fucking mass murderer for all I know, but he seems like a good lad at the tables, chatty, friendly. Yeah, it's just I thought it was pretty obvious Liam had a 6, and we made the fold, and we were punished for making the correct fold because we would have rivered a full house, and we would have almost certainly felted Liam because he would have bet the river probably, and we would have just gone all in, and hopefully he would have just put us on a lot of missed flush draws, etc., and called. But never mind. We didn't win the pot. We would have won the pot, but we didn't. So yeah, that's it. That's the end of the hands. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Some people have been asking for some Sky content. I haven't done any for ages. So I hope this video does quite well in terms of the views it gets. And if it does, then I'll be incentivized to make more of them. It's not going to be the most poker intensive month for me. The first 2 weeks of the month, it's college holidays. So I'm going to be doing a lot more work. Still plenty of time to play poker, but not plenty of time to make videos. So I'm not sure like how many videos are going to be coming out this month. Then from the 15th, the World Snooker Championship starts, which is my second favourite sporting event of the year after the Cheltenham Festival. So that will take a lot of time away from my poker play because there's 3 sessions a day. Now, I won't watch every game. I won't watch all sessions. There will be some times when I'm not watching it, but I'm going to be watching quite a lot of it. Also, the Grand National meetings coming, and I like that. So it's going to be a fun month in terms of like just things that I like to participate in, snooker, horse racing, etc. And probably the plan now is stick on Sky and just plod along, just 2 or 3 tables, plodding along. You know, not really being that bothered if I plodded along all month, just enjoying the game, not getting pissed off because the iPoker Skinner play-on's raking the crap out of me, and just enjoying myself, just playing like 2, 3 tables, just having fun. And if I end up just only making, I don't know, between 2 and 500 quid, I won't really care. I'll be happy enough, just playing with a lot less pressure to grind because of like the slight change in my earnings away from poker. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I was starting to get a little bit like fed up with the grind a little bit, so this has come at a good time for me. I think it's going to give me a good balance of like not if there's just times when I just can't be bothered to play, and I just don't have to play. I got sick of looking at the fucking same screens and this, that, and the other. Yeah, it's everything. The stars have aligned at a good time to for me to maybe make a little bit of a change. I've only put a very small deposit on Sky because I'm not committed to anything at the minute. So we're going to try and run it up. There won't be any like major shot takes. We'll just be plodding around playing 2 or 3 tables of 20 and 30. Now, just trying to enjoy ourselves and just nick a few quid every day. If we nick if we nick 10 or 15 quid a day and we play every day just about then, happy days, we'll end up with between like 300 and 500 quid, and I'll be more than happy with that. So yeah, we're out of here now. Thanks for watching, everybody. If you've stuck around this long, it is very much appreciated. Slotters, if you are still watching, you are a fine gentleman, sir, but a massive fucking whopper. And thanks to the rest of you for watching. As always, fuck the Tories. Fuck anyone that votes for them, unless you are my very good friend Spider Me, in which case, not fuck you, but fuck you anyway. And yeah, we'll see you in the next one. Take care, everybody, and goodbye for now.